Hey, James here again from Larry's Club, and this week, continuing from last week, we're going to talk about the 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 ways that Montessori is different from traditional schooling. By the end of this, you should be able to see why Montessori is able to maximize your child's development and the different techniques that allow you to implement this in every single educational scenario. So let's go ahead and jump into our list. Number one, teacher focus versus student focus. Traditional teaching says that teachers are there to teach lessons that are easy to demonstrate regardless of individual student needs. Montessori says teachers are there to help guide the students and allow them to explore the different lessons in a rich environment that allows them to experience different learning styles like auditory, visual, kinesthetic, and tactile. So that's number one. Number two, passive learning versus active. In traditional teaching, kids are there to take notes, listen to a teacher in a lecture style lesson while listening to, say, the teacher talk. In Montessori, kids are actively engaged in the lesson materials, exploring them, and understanding and asking different questions while the teacher works with each one-on-one. Number three, timed lessons versus self-paced. Traditional teaching says that kids have 30 to 45 minutes to get a lesson all the way through before they have to move on. Montessori says that kids need to take as much time as they need, and that any interruptions in developing mastery are to be avoided. Number four, teachers as instructors versus teachers as guides. Traditional teaching says that teachers are there to instruct every child in the same way at the same time in the same classroom. Versus Montessori says that teachers are there to more or less help guide each individual child down their learning path and allow them to discover their own unique style of learning for their own gifts. Number five, grade levels versus age groups. Traditional teaching says that kids need to be at specific grade levels with kids their own age because they're all developmentally the same, right? Montessori says that kids need to be in age groups that are flexible in order to allow kids that are more developmentally able to move up, or kids that aren't quite getting it as fast are able to kind of be with peers that are developing at the same rate. Number six, fixed curricula versus flexible. Traditional teaching says that kids are there to learn the exact same material in the exact same way every year, no matter what. Montessori says that the curriculum needs to be flexible in response to what the kids need and what their sort of developmental stage is, and the teacher needs to be prepared to identify when kids are developmentally ready to go to the next level or if they're having trouble. Number seven, class instruction versus individual. So traditional teaching says that the class is all going to learn at the same rate at the same time in the same way. Versus Montessori says that individuals should be allowed to progress based on where they are developmentally. So if somebody's getting ahead of the class, that's a good thing, and they should be encouraged to do that. So smart students are allowed to continue being bright and dive into more challenging materials, whereas students that are kind of slow and not quite getting it as fast as others are able to continue to learn and continue to get until a point where they get that mastery and they're able to catch up to their peers. Number eight, external validation versus internal. Traditional teaching says that validation must come from gold stars, blue ribbons, good grades, and a pat on the back. Montessori says that validation should come from the student's own internal sense of doing a good job and their own accomplishments based on their gifts. Number nine, mandatory lessons versus requested. Traditional teaching teaches to attest to knowledge checks and make sure that every child knows the same expected knowledge by the time they leave a grade. Montessori says that there should be lessons that children should request based on their own desires and what they want to learn and topics that they want to explore more deeply. Number 10, slow change versus fast change. Traditional teaching takes years to change curriculum, and oftentimes they only roll it out after they've made sure every single student is going to find value in what they're doing. Montessori says that instructors need to change based on changing student needs as soon as possible so that their development doesn't get slowed down. So even on paper, it's pretty easy to see why there's such a huge outcry in the US over the traditional teaching methods. Based on this, Montessori is able to really deliver a much higher quality of learning education than you will be able to get at a normal traditional school, which is why parents are starting to really consider the switch and moving forward in droves. So based on this list, what would you say is the number one sort of surprising fact about Montessori you didn't know about before? Leave a comment below for other parents, and next week we're going to be talking about how Schiller Math uses the best concepts from Montessori in our curriculum. Hope to see you next week, and I'll see you then. Take care.